advanced by Democrats. Friday's lawsuit asks the second set of maps be implemented. Chief Justice Maureen O'Connor has set a noon Wednesday deadline for commission members to explain their non-action, threatening to hold them in contempt of court.
In Southwest Ohio, the city of Hamilton has apparently impressed Amtrak. Owen and Steve Vaughn explains.
Hamilton city leaders met with representatives of Amtrak, going over the city's plans to build two platforms, one for the route to Chicago, the other on the proposed 3C line, linking Cincinnati, Columbus, and Cleveland. Vice Mayor Michael Ryan.
I feel great. We have a clear path forward. They share our excitement.
The senior manager of government affairs for Amtrak, Derek James, came away impressed.
They've taken some steps that really put them in the forefront in many ways with other communities.
The city is lobbying local lawmakers to get behind the effort. Steve Vaughn, ONN.
In the NBA All-Star game in Cleveland last night, former Cleveland Cavalier LeBron James made a shot at the buzzer to give his team a 163-160 win. I'm Dave James on the Ohio News Network.
Calls and conversations continue in less than 3 minutes as the Watchdog Morning Show with Howard Monroe continues after this.
Honey, you know the twins are juniors in high school this year, right? You know what that means. We have to figure out how we're going to pay for college.
Looks like one of us is going to have to get a second job.
Or we could sell the boat and the motorcycle.
Like I said, one of us needs to get a second job.
Wait, I heard that Metro News is giving away a full scholarship to West Virginia Wesleyan that includes room, board, tuition, and fees.
What? Room, board, tuition, and fees? That really is a full scholarship. And West Virginia Wesleyan is one of the best colleges in the entire state. We need to look into that.
And so do you. If you have a current junior in high school or know someone who does, go to WVMetroNews.com and click on the 2022 WV Scholar Program presented by Greer Industries. The application deadline is April 30th. It's easy to apply. Go to WVMetroNews.com and click on the Apply Now button today. Remember, the application deadline is April 30th.
Now is the time to explore Toyota's wide range of all-wheel and four-wheel drive vehicles. Like the brand new Corolla Cross with available all-wheel drive and more cargo room than ever. Or go off-road in a rugged new 4Runner. Visit your Toyota dealer today. Or go online to buyatoyota.com, the official website for deals. Hurry, offers end February 28th. Toyota, let's go places.
Are you or your loved ones facing a serious legal battle? The law office of Paul Harris wants you to know you aren't alone. Do you need someone that's not afraid to go to trial and fight for your rights? Attorney Paul Harris and his team are willing to go where most firms are not. The courtroom. With a successful track record in civil litigation, criminal defense, including tax issues and healthcare fraud, Harris Law Office will fight for their clients by offering the most aggressive representation in and out of court. Call Paul Harris at Harris Law Office for a free consultation. 304-232-5300.
Introducing our new redesigned 7 News app. Our new app features a sleek, modern design and easy-to-navigate home screen with quick access to local news content and a localized weather forecast. Subscribing to notifications is easier, and with one tap, you have access to recent push notifications. There are more ways to watch and find video. To get the new WTRF 7 News app, just update the latest version or download the WTRF 7 News app in your Apple or Google Play Store by searching WTRF.
Dutch Boy Platinum Plus. It's only paint. It's only paint that comes in a twist and pour container. It's only paint that will transform your den with just one coat of salted lavender into a writer's sanctuary. It's only paint that will help you become TV's hottest writer, where you'll meet this guy.
Hey.
Who starred in that thing.
Now that's a twist I didn't see coming.
Dutch Boy. It's only paint. Only easy opening, smooth pouring, change your life paint. Only at Menards. Get 11% off everything, including Dutch Boy paint.
Stand by. You're back to live and local programming in moments on the Watchdog.
Hello, everyone. From the Watchdog, I'm the Storm Tracker, Darnell Foster. With a look at your local weather forecast for your start to the work week. Plenty of sunshine, a milder day with a high near 60 degrees. The overnight low of 47 under mostly cloudy skies with a few rain showers beginning. You'll see a better chance of seeing those rain showers on and off for your Tuesday with highs in the low 60s. Have yourself a great day, everyone. From the Watchdog, I'm Darnell Foster.
The views and opinions expressed on the following program are not necessarily those of this station or its sponsors.
I cannot tell a lie.
We're marking President's Day today.
77 years ago.
This day observes the birthdays of George Washington and Abraham Lincoln.
A date which will live in infamy.
The day to honor all former presidents in the U.S.
That the only thing we have to fear is fear itself.
Ask not what your country can do for you. Ask what you can do for your country.
Happy President's Day.
It's showtime.
Live from the Robinson Auto Group studios, this is the Valley's longest-running morning show, the Watchdog Morning Show with Howard Monroe from WKKX and WVLY.
Well, happy President's Day to you. The third Monday of February, we always celebrate President's Day in all of its patriotic glory. Some people get the day off work. It's not as big a day off work as it is as many others are. This is kind of a combined day, Biffy. When I was growing up, we had Lincoln's birthday and Washington's birthday. I'm not sure if we had created President's Day by the time you were in school or not, but we used to always celebrate Lincoln's birthday and then Washington's birthday. They were only a couple of days apart. And we would do things in school. I don't know if you did anything in school to celebrate those birthdays. We would draw pictures of Abraham Lincoln, or I remember one year, I think it was fourth grade, we made a paper mache bust of George Washington's head. I think once upon a time we planted a cherry tree because remember the mythical story about George Washington, who cut down the cherry tree. I cannot tell a lie. I did. That is not true, but that's the thing. So I don't know. Did you do Washington's birthday and Lincoln's birthday, Biffy, or were you President's Day by that time?
If we did, we probably just had like an art class had a picture of each one, and you had to, color in the picture, and then the teacher probably had a little, talk about each one, and that was it. But I'm not really recalling anything, that sticks out coming into my mind. So that's probably what we did. We just drew, colored a picture of them, and then, just learned about each one, and that was it.
Yeah, that's kind of what my memory is too. It's not, I don't have a great memory of those days, but you're right. We they would hand out almost like a coloring book page or something. He'd color the picture in, or she would read, maybe in a little bit younger grade, she would read a story about Abraham Lincoln or George Washington. We didn't really get a lot of real history. And of course, I got to be careful about that. I say real history, and I could be reported to the governor's hotline. Because real history these days we get scared about. We're going to talk about that coming up a little bit later on. After the death of George Washington back in 1799, his birthday as the first president of the United States was unofficially celebrated as a day of remembrance. They called it Washington Day. Throughout the 1800s, Washington Day was celebrated to honor George Washington. In the late 1870s, it was proposed that his birthday become a national holiday, and then President Rutherford B. Hayes signed it into law in 1879. Because of Abraham Lincoln's legacy and the proximity of his birthday to Washington's birthday, it was proposed that Washington Day be merged with Lincoln's birthday and it become President's Day. That happened in the late 1960s, and it was in 1971 that President Richard Nixon signed the executive order for the Uniform Monday Holiday Act, which put all of these different holidays on Mondays. Washington's birthday, Columbus Day, Memorial Day, Veterans Day, all moved to Monday for the holidays. So today is President's Day. We are observing it to some extent or another. For some people, it is a paid holiday, although a lot of people it's not. Obviously, because it came out of George Washington, President's Day is really an American holiday. Although around the world, there are some places that kind of use the day to celebrate their own presidents or leaders as well. But it's definitely an American holiday. I have a little list here. Somebody asked the question and somebody responded. What's the value of President's Day? Number one, knowledge is power. Those who don't learn from the past are doomed to repeat it. We have to know history to prevent history from happening again, bad history from happening again. Number two, we simply remember. President's Day allows us to pause and gives respect to the legacy of those who came before. And number three, inspiration. While nothing is perfect, it is important to hold on to the ideals this country stands for and allows it to inspire you to reach greater heights. So if you're kids, well, if you are a kid, or if you're a teacher and you're on a break or something, what do you do in school for President's Day? Again, when I was a kid, it was Lincoln's birthday and Washington's birthday. They had not yet been combined. And we drew pictures of Lincoln or Washington, and I remember one year we did sort of a paper mache bust of Washington's head, and one year we planted a cherry tree seeds for that cherry tree story. So, to me, those were the days when teachers found teachable moments in these things. We didn't just have it as a holiday and people get the day off, or just have it a holiday and move on. They were teachable moments. They were teachable moments in school. In fact, that's kind of what I want to talk about this morning. With Rick Staten, former majority leader in the House in West Virginia, an attorney down in Charleston. I wanted to talk a bit about education. An op-ed piece that he wrote in the Charleston Gazette caught my attention recently. Rick, good morning. Welcome to the show, first of all.
Good morning. How are you?
It sounds to me like you came up through schools and education the way I did, with teachers who found ways to use the moment of the day, whether it be a holiday like Washington's birthday or Lincoln's birthday, or whether it be a big news story of the day. I had teachers that used those as what we now call teachable moments. Sounds like you did that too, right?
Yeah, I can remember even back in 5th grade when the massacre happened at Kent State that we discussed it in my English class. So my teacher then, Mrs. Brown, was very good at every day we talked about some current event news story.
When I think back on the teachers that I remember and that I consider to be really good, the ones that stand out in my mind are the ones that were able to sort of modify the day based on what was going on. As you point out, if there was something of real interest and importance in the news, we would talk about it. Or if there was something in the community that seemed to be generating concern among students and parents or what have you, we might sit down and talk about it and put it in some kind of a perspective. Those conversations to me were really, really valuable. I never had a teacher, speaking for myself, and I want your thoughts on this, I never had a teacher who tried to mold my mind in one political way or another. He simply opened up my mind to asking questions.
Yeah, that was my experience. I mean, they would, for the most part, foster debate by bringing up counterpoints, by saying, well, some people will say this, though. What do you think about that? But, yeah, nobody ever stood in front of us and said, this is how I believe and this is how it should go. And I think kids are thirsty for learning. And, you know, they see the news, they see the paper. I don't think it would be at all unusual today for students to say to their teachers, hey, what's going on in Ukraine? I don't understand that. And for them to have a conversation about it.
Do you feel that some of the efforts underway in the legislature, you're familiar with the legislature, you were there for a number of years, do you feel that some of the efforts underway currently are sort of trying to squeeze that spontaneity out of the classroom?
Yeah, I think there's too much of an effort now to do two things. Number one, to micromanage the classroom by dictating how the day should go and how lesson plans and others should be. And secondly, the effort to pass a constitutional amendment to let the legislature set the curriculum instead of the State Board of Education, which I think is a horrible idea because we have a part-time legislature that doesn't have the time or expertise to develop those things. And that's not a criticism of this legislature. I don't think that we had the expertise when I was there. It's just the way the system is set up. And so I think we should leave that to the experts. We went through this in the 2000s when we had the national No Child Left Behind, and we had micromanaging standards that were put upon us by the federal government. Teachers began to having to teach to the test because funding was based on how well kids scored on the standardized tests. We realized that wasn't working, and we rolled a lot of that back after about 10 years. And I think we're getting ready to enter a similar stage.
There are a number of things happening in this legislative session. One, and you're right, that movement to give the legislature really control over education, I find that frightening. And it's certainly education is one area. The truth of the matter is, again, you were a legislator. Hopefully you don't take offense. Most lawmakers are not experts in anything other than their own field.
Right.
Whatever they are before they become a legislator, they bring that background. Were I to get into the legislature, I'd have input into the field of broadcasting and communications, but I'm not a teacher. I'm not a scientist. And I think it's dangerous when lawmakers believe that they, because they've been elected, somehow have the knowledge and ability to dictate in areas they don't know much about.
I agree fully. I'm a lawyer. People would say that I am quote unquote educated. I got no business trying to tell school boards what needs to be in the science or math curriculum or how it should be taught. I don't know how to do that. And I would say that of all of my colleagues in the legislature. That's not a criticism. It's because we are part-time and we don't have the time or that expertise. We have full-time people at the State Board of Education who are dedicated to this, who follow those trends, and I trust them to set curricula. And I trust local school boards, if lines are crossed, to say, hey, wait a minute, you're going too far with this.
We have one other issue in the legislature right now that is, I think, really dangerous, and we've talked about it a lot on this radio show, and that's this, air quotes, the anti-stereotyping bill or the transparency bill. The idea that school systems and educators should put everything online for parents to see that could conceivably tie into race and sex and so on. So that's point one. Everything's got to be out there and put online, and the lesson plans sort of available, which actually are anyways. And then number two, trying to say what should and should not be taught as a part specifically of history, but really be taught in general. Again, I find those frightening to think that lawmakers are going to decide what's appropriate and not appropriate for teachers to teach about.
Yeah, I agree fully. I think it's very frightening. I think, again, it's an example of micromanaging educators who are already overwhelmed. They are stressed to the max. I have lots of friends who are teachers. They are stressed to the max. There's not many people coming into the teaching profession, so they're looking for people to be educators. They're dealing with not only what's going on in the classroom, but worrying about their kids having food over the weekend and dealing with the ravages of addiction and kids being raised by their grandparents. And, we're piling on to them, I think. And we need to let them worry about teaching and not worry about their benefits or being fired for telling the legislature that they're doing something wrong, or having to post the minute details of what they're going to be teaching online.
As we've talked about this, most of the teachers that I have talked with, both on and off the air, have said that, going back to something you and I just said a few minutes ago, most teachers I've talked to have said that the most useful teaching moments in their classroom come when they veer away from the lesson plan. When something happens in the world, or something, maybe not even in the world, when students simply raise questions that take them down a path that hadn't been pre-planned. And a lot of teachers worry about this anti-stereotyping law because they're fearful that if they do that, go down a different path, they could end up getting caught on the carpet. And I think that's the phrase "chilling effect" has been used, but I think it's really out there.
Yeah, I agree. I think that we trust educators to do what's best for students, and they do. And I just think generally that the system works, and I think problems occur when we try to intervene in that system. The legislature obviously has the right to set broad oversights, as does even more constitutionally the State Board of Education. But I think the system in those instances works, and teachers should be allowed to worry about teaching. They shouldn't be worried about the content or anything like that. They should be worried about what they're doing in the classroom. I'll give you an example that you just sort of touched on. Back in my home county of Wyoming, there was a huge fight at a basketball game, which got so serious it has led to them to cancel all sports between those two schools for the next year. That, to me, is an appropriate discussion in class right after the basketball game. It's not in a lesson plan somewhere, but it's appropriate to say, why did this happen? What do you think about it? What do you think we should do about it?
And again, I would think that some teachers, under some of these new guidelines that are being discussed and probably will become law, would be fearful of doing that for fear that somebody, I mean, for heaven's sakes, Rick, I don't think it's going to pass, but there's a bill out there to create a snitch line that if you hear parents, or if you hear teachers talking about something they shouldn't, call and report them. I think a lot of teachers are going to get nervous about having those kind of conversations for fear they'll be, I said earlier, called on the carpet, which will diminish that spontaneity in the classroom.
Yeah, I agree. And I think it's twofold. I think, number one, to the extent you dictate the curricula so that they must follow a lesson plan and can't deviate from it and manage that time. And then to the extent that you don't foster critical thinking and open discussion, I think that it's a slam to the backbone of democracy, actually. Students need to learn, in addition to history and science, they need to learn critical thinking and how to listen to others, and that's part of the school experience. And I think teachers do a great job of fostering that, and I don't want to see anything chill that effect.
In this HB 4011, which is the anti-stereotyping bill, Chris Pritt is Chris Pritt from Kanawha County is the delegate who's sponsoring it. He wrote a piece in the local newspaper over the weekend trying to explain why it's not as bad as people think. I'm not going to go into the whole thing, but a couple of things caught my attention. He says, for example, I've got to find this note here real quick. There is nothing in this bill that says actual history can't be taught. Well, who determines what actual history is? What does that mean? That, to me, again, is a very chilling phrase. Actual history. Well, history is history.
Right. And, these efforts in other states, two things in response to that bill. First, these efforts in other states to teach, quote unquote, both sides, I think are like you said, history is history. You don't have to find another side to it. You just have to teach all sides, for lack of a better word. Second, Delegate Pritt kind of tipped his hand. He calls it an anti-stereotyping bill, but he sent out a tweet a couple of weeks ago that said that he would be on the radio the next day talking about his critical race theory bill. And, there's this huge debate across the country about CRT, but what is not being told is CRT is an advanced college course that's usually taught at master's level or in law schools. CRT is not taught in any public school in West Virginia, and probably not in any public school in America.
And I think that some of the Republican, not necessarily in West Virginia, but across the country, have kind of gotten the fact that message is getting out, and critical race theory itself has lost some of the impact it had 6-8 weeks ago, 2 months ago, whatever. So that's why they're going for something a little bit different, I think. I call it a stealth critical race theory bill. It's kind of trying to get in under the radar as something different. But I think it's the same thing. Again, I'm looking at this piece that Chris Pritt wrote in the newspaper. Most parents don't want their kids indoctrinated with ideas contrary to the ideals of our country. Now, first of all, I take issue with the phrase indoctrinated, but setting that aside for a minute. Ideas contrary to the ideals of our country. Well, part of the conversation that goes on in classrooms is, what are the ideals of our country? I mean, that's part of what the conversation is. And there are some who think the ideals are different than what perhaps Mr. Pritt does. And that's why we have these wide-ranging conversations and why teachers, hopefully, present a variety of different points of view.
Right. I think, as you said earlier, history is, concrete. It's history. And you can't talk about the Civil War without talking about what gave rise to it, which is slavery. You can't talk about Reconstruction without talking about how people came in, the so-called carpetbaggers came into the South. You can't talk about voting rights without talking about the Jim Crow laws. That doesn't mean that you're shading history. You're telling facts. And that's not a knock on any group or philosophy. And another example I would give is to peg on what Delegate Pritt said, you can't teach about how great democracies are without contrasting them to what happens in countries that are not democracies, autocracies, or communist countries or something like that. You need to learn about what those systems are like and what their failures are in order to contrast them with what is great about the democracy of America.
It's a great point. Again, from Mr. Pritt's own column in the newspaper, most parents do not want Marxist ideas incorporated into school curriculum. I would say I hope they are incorporated, because otherwise, how do you, as you just said, Rick, how do you compare and contrast?
Right.
Capitalism is the greatest system in the world. Okay, but how do I know that if I don't look at other systems and see how they have worked and operated? So I'll get criticism for this, but I hope they do incorporate Marxist ideas into the classroom so that kids can understand, students can understand what it is they're talking about and can make their own decision. Is this the best form of government around? To me, that's very important.
Yeah, and where I think Delegate Pritt is wrong is that he underestimates the intelligence of students themselves, that they have the ability to learn about those things without adopting those ideas. So you can teach Marxism or socialism and democracy without, quote unquote, as to use his column word, indoctrinating them into that belief. And that's what students need. They need to learn how to discern the differences between those things. I got no problem with the teacher saying, hey, here's here's why America is the greatest country in the world, and here's the reasons Marxism, socialism, and these other systems don't work as well. And I think that's what students need, and you underestimate students in their ability to discern that for themselves.
Rick, are you and I just getting too old? Are we thinking back with nostalgic rose-colored glasses to a better day? Because I think back on the days of my high school career, and I don't remember any teacher indoctrinating or saying this is the right way. There are very few teachers over my career that I even knew where they stood, air quotes, politically. I didn't know it. It didn't come up. They would share different points of view, and we would discuss them. I never felt at any time in my high school career, or college for that matter, but my high school career, that I was being indoctrinated, that somebody was trying to force me to believe a certain way. So, but maybe, I mean, I'm serious. Maybe, are you and I just getting too old? We remember the good old days when teachers were better, and this kind of stuff is happening now in the classroom?
I kind of have two responses to that. Number one, I don't think that. I think there are teachers out there who have the same ideals that our teachers had growing up. I think they feel, especially within the past year with what's happened, I think they feel somewhat constrained to be able to do that. And they want to be allowed to enter into these subject matters about current events and historical events like that. So I think we have teachers that are just like the teachers we had growing up, but they feel constrained in doing that. The second point I have is that I think they feel constrained in other areas. You know, it's hard to teach, I think, when you're worried about someone looking over your shoulder or worried about whether your PEIA benefits are going to be cut or things like that, when they're somewhat distracted about those things. And, you know, we should just kind of take a step back and let educators educate.
I have a mantra that I've been using here lately about teachers. If we want to improve our education system, keep teachers here and not have them flee the state and bring better teachers in, bring good teachers in, pay them, respect them, leave them alone. That to me are the three. Pay them, respect them, and leave them alone, and I think all will be well.
I think that's perfectly said, and I've often said that line that says those who can do, those who can't teach is backwards. Teachers sacrifice pay and time to train doctors, engineers, lawyers, and other teachers. And we have society backwards in that respect. Teachers, in my judgment, should be among the highest paid professions, not among the lowest. And when we have teachers leaving the classroom to go into coal mining or something, we are losing intellectual abilities.
Yeah, I couldn't agree with you more. And, you know, I think, listen, I'm very good at what I do. I've had a lot of experience, a lot of years. I do it well. I know my field. I got to tell you, I'm a terrible teacher. And I have, you know, done a little bit of classroom work at the college level even. And I'm terrible because I'm not a teacher. I do what I do, but I'm not a teacher. Teaching is a profession in and unto itself that requires subject knowledge, obviously, but also requires skill as a teacher. And I don't think we give enough credit to that it's not, you know, not anybody can step. I say it about a talk show host. Everybody says they think they can be a talk show host till they've done a show for a day. Everybody thinks they can be a teacher until they've been in the classroom for a couple of days.
Right. You know, I saw a meme, you know, trying to be funny but make a point yesterday that said legislators should not pass education laws unless they've spent 6 months substitute teaching. And I think there's a lot of credence to that. You don't know what goes on in the classroom. You know, they're dealing with teaching science, with the kid who got bullied and is sitting back in the corner, and all kinds of things. They are trained on how to deal with those things. We're not. I can't walk into a classroom and start teaching history or law or anything. They're taught with methods of delivery and how to handle students on a psychological level. Those are things that none of us have the expertise in because we haven't been trained.
And there's another, and you've alluded to this a couple of times. I don't have time to get into it now. We'll talk again in the future maybe. But the other thing that teachers have to deal with are students who come into the classroom hungry, tired, maybe abused, maybe from families that are dysfunctional families. I mean, the baggage the kids bring to the school sometimes is so much that what the teachers have to present to them in education and learning is just a tiny part of the baggage they already have on their back. That's a conversation for another day, but I think if we started looking at what happens to kids before they get into the classroom, we might realize they would be better off in the classroom if they didn't have all that baggage to bring with them. But Rick, I don't have any more time right now. So, hey, I appreciate your time this morning. Thanks very much. We'll talk again.
Sure.
I enjoy talking with you, and I thank you for your perspective.
Sure. Great talking to you. You have a great day.
All right, you too. Rick Staten, he's an attorney down in Charleston now, a former West Virginia House Majority Leader, wrote a piece, and he writes some pieces from time to time. He's been on with us before. Just every once in a while, he pops up with some thoughts on issues of the day, bringing a former legislator's perspective to it. So I thought we would get his take on that. All right, hey, the good news is, Biff, I'm not as far behind as I was last hour, right?
That's true.
I'm still pretty far behind, though. 9:41, 19 to the hour on the Watchdog Morning Show. We got news. We got DeFabio. And coming up from the Big Seven, guess who I saw at Red Lobster over the weekend, Biffy?
Bob Westfall?
Brenda Danehart.
Oh, Brenda.
Looked like she had a pretty big plate full of food as well. So if she's with us this morning, we'll talk about that. But right now, let's talk about the news.
West Virginia Metro News, I'm Carrie Hudasek. Wheeling attorney Teresa Taraseva says an email Monongalia County Delegate Danielle Walker received earlier this month depicting an image of a KKK member pushing a pro-life message was highly offensive and racist.
When someone is targeted based on their race and gender or combination and targeted with racist, violent language, that's too far.
Walker received that message from the Berkeley County West Virginians for Life. The group's president has since resigned. A civil lawsuit has been filed against the group to ask for damages, a jury trial, and a restraining order to prevent further contact with Walker. No word on what caused a Sunday fire at an empty storage unit facility in Kanawha County. The two-alarm blaze broke out at around 2:30 in the afternoon in Nitro. West Virginia University's Board of Governors has received a complaint from a student involving undercooked food purchased at a dining hall on the Morgantown campus. Sodexo, the company who contracts with WVU for its food services, is taking full responsibility for their actions. Meanwhile, WVU Vice President of Strategic Initiatives, Rob Alsop, says they're working to address the issue.
We want to rebuild the trust and transparency with those parents and students who got irritated with the incident. And so we will be communicating more.
The university is offering Sodexo employees more training and checking their results with expanded audits. You're listening to Metro News, the voice of West Virginia. Former Monongalia County Board of Education member Barbara Parsons says she believes a resolution that would make local school board elections partisan would create division and would not help people work together.
We have so many challenges when we are very much assigned to a party. It becomes you're with me or you're against me.
The resolution is being considered by the House of Delegates. If approved, partisan school board elections would take place beginning in May 2024. From the Metro News Anchor Desk, I'm Carrie Hudasek.
Pretty good weekend for the Nailers on the road Saturday. They defeated Reading by the score of 5-3. Not a good day Sunday for the Penguins. At home, they lost to Carolina. The Hurricanes beat the Pens 4-3. Let's hear from head coach Mike Sullivan.
It was about attention to detail and execution, and for me, in some instances there, we self-inflict with some of the opportunities that we gave them.
Next up for Pittsburgh, Saturday encounter with the visiting New Jersey Devils. NBA All-Star game played in Cleveland, Ohio. Team LeBron defeated Team Durant 163 to 160. How about Seth Curry? MVP, 50 points. He recorded 16 threes.
I said I had to run around a bunch of double teams. I didn't expect that in the All-Star game, and my legs kind of went last 3 minutes. But it was a special night. I'm glad I got hot. Got going early.
Well, the Winter Olympics history. The United States finished 4th overall with a total of 25 medals. Number 1, Norway, with 37 medals. The surprise story of the weekend, maybe the week, maybe the month, the Pittsburgh Steelers have hired Brian Flores to be the team's senior defensive assistant / linebackers coach. I'm Bill DeFabio on sports, and we are the Watchdog.
Hi, Tom Kirchhoff will Talk Line on Metro News. Every Friday on Talk Line, it's team release, and you can release team about the host, and sometimes people even say nice things.
I liked your editorial. I thought it was courageous, and I think although we come from different perspectives, I'm more liberal. I think you're fair-minded, and I think your point was well taken.
Well, what do you know? Steam release every Friday on Talk Line, right here on this Metro News radio station. And Talk Line weekdays at 10:06. We'll talk to you then.
Dutch Boy Platinum Plus. It's only paint. It's only paint that comes in an award-winning twist and pour container. It's only paint that will transform your den with just 1 coat of salted lavender into a writer's sanctuary. It's only paint that will help you become TV's hottest writer, where you'll meet this guy.
Hey,
Who starred in that thing.
now that's a twist I didn't see coming.
So yeah, it's only paint. Only easy opening, smooth pouring, change your life both professionally and romantically paint. Dutch Boy. Only at Menards.
Sometimes the best time to prune trees is when they're dormant or with no leaves on them. For ISA certified arborists, it helps them see what branches may need to be pruned or removed. Dormant season pruning can also help lessen problems associated with insects and diseases and help create structurally stronger trees that can better handle heavy wet snows or ice buildup. Contact an ISA certified arborist to get the best professional advice on keeping your trees healthy and safe. Go to treesforohio.org. That's trees4ohio.org.
Ohio has over 920,000 diabetics. If you are a diabetic, take a step in the right direction by having your feet checked routinely by a podiatric physician, the most qualified doctors to care for your feet. Adding a podiatrist to your healthcare team can help you better manage the effects of diabetes on your feet. Ohio Foot and Ankle Medical Association podiatric physicians are located throughout the state. For more information or to find a member of the Ohio Foot and Ankle Medical Association near you, visit associationsadvanceohio.com.
For all of your IT needs, visit OmniPerforms.com. Omni Strategic Technologies, the only IT company that the Watchdog trusts.
Stretch your dollar with 11% off everything at Menards. Need a new power tool? Pick one up for 11% off. How about some paint? You guessed it, all 11% off. A new washing machine? That's 11% off too. You could even save 11% on an entire house. There's no limit to what you can save with 11% off everything. Good through February 26th. Savings are a mail-in rebate. Some exclusions apply. See store for details.
Every weeknight at 6 p.m., join the voice of the Mountaineers, Tony Caridi, on The Watchdog. Tony informs and entertains WVU fans with the latest Mountaineer sports news. If it happens in the world of gold and blue, Tony knows about it and shares it with you. Sportsline, weeknights at 6 on The Watchdog. Dominating both AM and FM, The Watchdog is AM 1600 and 1370, FM 98.1 and 97.7. We are The Watchdog.
We're on air, online, on video, and on demand. Find us where you like us. This is the Watchdog Morning Show with Howard Monroe.
It's almost 9:50, 10 till the hour here on the Watchdog Morning Show. If you want to watch our video feed, I want to encourage you to do a couple of things on a regular basis. Number one, go to watchdognetwork.com. Watchdognetwork.com. That's where the video feed resides all the time. You can find it elsewhere, but simplest thing to do, WatchdogNetwork.com video feed live from the home studio. Not a lot happens here, although we had a little visit today from granddaughter Ariana, and sometimes Teddy pops in, and you never know what's liable to occur. So check the video feed every day at WatchdogNetwork.com. Yeah, it's still on our Facebook page and my Facebook page and so on. The other thing is, when you go to WatchdogNetwork.com, click the YouTube link that's right there with the video. Click the YouTube link, and then subscribe to our YouTube channel, and then you'll be alerted every time we go live with the video. So watch the video at WatchdogNetwork.com, click the YouTube link, subscribe to our YouTube channel once the link takes you to our channel, and that may be the best way for you to watch the video feed. We've had to make some changes and adjustments, and I keep getting a lot of people saying, well, how do I watch? Again, it's not like there's a whole lot of exciting stuff going on here, people. It's just me most of the time. But nonetheless, if you want to watch the video feed, same thing is true of Bill and the mayor and the girls and Butch and all the other folks. You can watch the video feed at WatchdogNetwork.com and click the YouTube link. I would suggest you do that. Click YouTube, and then it will take you to our YouTube channel, and then subscribe to our YouTube channel so you get some alerts. Okay, good. President's Day today, going to be a nice one, warm and pleasant, sunny. 60 for the high today, 62 and rainy tomorrow. Currently, still 44 degrees, Wheeling, Ohio County Airport. 45 here at my home studios in the Elm Grove section of Wheeling, and 43 degrees at the Robinson Auto Group Studios downtown Wheeling in the heart of the Ohio Valley. The Superload, I have not had an update on the Superload. I couldn't find anything online, but the Marshall County deputies had said earlier this morning that a Superload was going to start on Route 88 in Bethlehem, go down 88, turn onto Route 250, head down towards Cameron. So I'm guessing they're probably making their way through still, because that Superload moves slowly. So if you're in that area, just kind of be careful and watch out for that. Let's head over to Bob Westfall from the Big 7, WTRF TV. Good morning, Bob.
Morning, Howard. How are you?
I'm good. How was your weekend?
Fantastic. How was Red Lobster?
Red Lobster was good.
Yeah.
For the second week in a row, I went with the Lobster Lover's Dream. 2 lobster tails, lobster linguine, baked potato, Caesar salad, seafood dip, and this time I added some bacon wrapped scallops.
Oh, that sounds wonderful.
Yeah, I made the mistake. I made the mistake when I got home of actually going online and looking up the sodium content of that, because I'm on a low sodium diet.
Yeah.
Yeah, I probably should have no more salt for another 2 weeks.
Yeah.
Because that was, oh my God, I didn't realize how much sodium was there.
Yeah.
I was hoping Brenda might be on this morning, because I want to know, I didn't get a chance to look at her plate, but she seemed to be eating pretty good in there at Red Lobster.
Probably cheese sticks.
Okay.
I
All right. Well,
Here she is.
Uh-oh. I had
Uh-oh.
fried shrimp, and I had broccoli, and I had a baked potato.
That's it?
That's it. I had to take half of it home with me.
That sounds good, Brenda.
It was good, thank you.
Well, it was. I enjoyed. You were having it was a party of some kind, right? You had some. I heard you guys singing "Happy Birthday" back there.
Yes, it was a birthday party for a friend. Yep, sure was.
I didn't know if it was really a birthday, or because sometimes I like telling them it's a birthday just so they give me a free piece of cake.
Oh, for crying out loud, Howard! You're the highest paid radio personality in the Ohio Valley.
Well, you still always use free cake. Free cake, I guess.
Let me talk a bit, because I know neither of us make enough to afford Red Lobster. So
Yeah, you can talk to me, Bob. That's fine.
Let me be clear. Let me be clear about my Red Lobster meal, because it was the most expensive meal on the menu. However, it was thanks to a Red Lobster gift card I got for Christmas that covered my whole meal. So I was taken care of with a gift card from a good friend. So,
So this good friend that knows you're on a low sodium diet gave you a gift card to a place that he knows to feed you with the high sodium foods. You got friends like I got family.
Biff, do you have any comment on that?
I think what Bob's trying to say is they may have ulterior motives.
Are you looking for another morning show partner? Is that what it is? I know what the powerful one. Pierre is trying to get rid of me so he can take over. You know I'm talking about this. The powerful one has abandoned me. He's hanging out with Donnie all the time on Fridays. He wants the show, and you're helping him, Biff.
I was on the dance floor dancing.
If I have to go, I want to go eating lobster. I'm just going to say that as clearly as I can. All right, we better talk about some news stuff. Bob, what do you got going on today?
All right, a couple things we got today. Got a special sweet piece today talking to firefighters on tools they use, especially now that they're fighting COVID as well. Things they use to clean their trucks, clean their equipment, to take care of themselves, especially when you don't know the person you're rushing to save may or may not have COVID. So Taylor's got that special report today. That's until 5 o'clock. So we will have that today. Continue our hometown heroes, Belmont County teacher today. Also, I want to push and let the viewers know we're doing teachers this year as our hometown heroes. We do a piece Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. But you can go to our website and click on there's a small bar there you can click on. And if you want to donate, Belmont Savings, a couple other groups have gotten together, and we are going to fill out wish lists for these teachers. I had a cousin who was a teacher in Harrison Hills, almost spent as much as she made just for stuff for her classroom. So we're excited about trying to get some donations in there real quick. But if you go to our website, you will see the tab. Click on that and make your donations. I think that's a huge thing. So we're continuing today. We've got, like I said, I think it's a Bridgeport high school teacher. So we will have that. That is DK handled that today, and that'll be on our 5 as well. Some of the other things we're working on, we're going to talk to Mike Major out at Wheeling dealership on the chip shortage. That continues. There's a huge announcement in Ohio. They're actually going to try and build this plant at warp speed is what they said. So they're still dealing with a chip shortage, not only when it comes to vehicles, but anything that has a computer chip in it. So we're going to talk to Mike about that. So Ashley will be out covering that today. And we got an update on the Monument Place Bridge project, when that is going to begin. As you know, it was delayed when all the other detours came up at one time. So we did talk to Tony Clark down at the Department of Highways to get an update on that. Of course, as gorgeous as it is today, tomorrow we're going to have some rain. So Aaron and Zach are following that. And, of course, sports. Had the Daytona 500, which I told John Lynch a little bit ago. I'm a huge fan of NASCAR. I think anybody knows me knows that. It was cool during the race. At one point, 2 leaders, 1 and 2. One car was owned by Brad Daugherty, who played for the Cleveland Cavaliers, and the other one was owned by Michael Jordan, who played for, obviously, the Chicago Bulls. So I thought that was kind of cool. So we'll be following up on sports today. So we got a little bit of everything today. So, like I said, if you need it and you're out and about, the weather app is important, especially with the rain that's coming tomorrow. And the news, anything you need to know is on those 2 apps. So you got to have them.
Including traffic cams for people who want to know what the traffic is like. The traffic cams are right there on the news app, so you can get a quick glance at traffic on key locations. That's really important too. Bob, I got to run, but people can look forward to the news today at noon, 5, 6, 10, 11, 5:30 statewide show. WTRF.com, your Facebook page, and on the Storm Tracker 7 and WTRF News apps with the news in your pocket. Bob, talk to you tomorrow. Thank you. Biffy, I will be back tomorrow morning at 7 o'clock with the Go Run of the Big Gig. Are you back with me?
I am here for a Tuesday.
We'll keep on doing it till we get it right.
That could be a long time.
Based on today, I'd say that's true.
News, FM 98.1, AM 1600 WKKX Wheeling, FM 97.7, AM 1370 WVLY Moundsville.
Officers wearing body armor and ballistic.
All right, Biffy. I think that was a good show. It was really off base. I did not get to. I had one more guest I was trying to arrange. I'm glad I didn't because we couldn't fit one more in. I think it was okay. You think it was okay? Yeah, I mean, it was a little bit different, but that's all right. Sometimes we just gotta, kick back and let it go. Yeah, Rick was better this time than the first time we had him on, which is good. I may use him more because he seemed a little bit better now. The first time we had him on a few months ago, he was a little bit hesitant. Maybe he's gotten familiar with us now. I don't know. But, yeah, I thought all in all it was okay. I wasn't on time very often. That's my fault. Sorry about that. But yeah, that's the important thing. All right. I think I'm around all day today. Have some things to do for the station, but I'll do them from here. And that's it. And everything okay up there as far as you know? Down there, wherever you are? Weekend games went okay? Ah. And was one of those was a stream game only? I can't remember. Was it a stream game? And it went off okay. The stream thing worked okay. Okay. Yeah. Yeah. But who knows next time? All right. Well, and what's the temperature in the building today? Any better at all? Yeah, it's not bad. I mean, it's a warmer day at least. But God, last week it was freezing when I was there last week. I don't get it. All right. Any construction work going on? Any painting happening? Any carpeting coming down? Anything like that? Okie dokie. I just like to check. All right. All right. Well, I'll be around if you need me. You know what to do. Just give me a call. Otherwise, I will just talk to you in the morning. Appreciate your help as always. Thanks a lot. All right. Bye.
Calling for the EU to, quote, continue and scale up an active climate diplomacy and cooperation with partners in the run-up to COP27 to set more ambitious targets, end quote. At the COP26 climate summit last year, nearly 200 countries agreed to set tougher emissions reduction targets. Inez de la Quatera, ABC News, Paris.
Even without his spider suit, actor Tom Holland is still at the top of the box office. His new movie, Uncharted, based on the video game series, topping the charts with about $51 million in ticket sales. Spider-Man No Way Home, also starring Holland, coming in third place. This is ABC News.
God, I'm so stressed. It's a brand new year and our business is busier than ever. What is that? Meditation?
I'm recommending the Ooma cloud phone system with auto attendant and more than 35 features.
Ooma?
Yep. Switching to Ooma is a cinch. Starts at $19.95 per month per user, plus taxes and fees.
Ooma.
Now you're feeling it. Visit Ooma.com. That's OOMA.com to learn more. Ooma. Smart communications for the smarter business.
I'm Sherry Preston, ABC News.
Hi, it's Howard Monroe. If you are looking for the latest news, be sure to catch the Watchdog Morning Show every day. We've got it. If you're looking for interesting and timely interviews, be sure to check into the Watchdog Morning Show every day. We've got them. And if you're looking for an occasional laugh, check in with the Watchdog Morning Show. We'll give you that as well. Plus rants and texts and calls and more. I'm Howard Monroe. Join me and Brad Leonard every weekday from 7 to 10. It's the Watchdog Morning Show right here. Wake up with us.
Hello, everyone. From the Watchdog, I'm the Storm Tracker, Darnell Foster. With a look at your local weather forecast for your start to the work week. Plenty of sunshine, a milder day with a high near 60 degrees. The overnight low of 47 under mostly cloudy skies with a few rain showers beginning. You'll see a better chance of seeing those rain showers on and off for your Tuesday with highs in the low 60s. Have yourself a great day, everyone. From the Watchdog, I'm Darnell Foster.
The views and opinions expressed on the following program are not necessarily those of this station or its sponsors.
Good morning. Welcome to Talkline on the Metro News Radio Network.
Do not attempt to change the station. You are surrounded. We interrupt this program to bring you an emergency news bulletin. Repeat, this is an emergency bulletin. Keep your radio turned on.
From the studios of WVRC Media and the Metro News Radio Network, the voice of West Virginia, comes the most powerful radio show in West Virginia.
This is Metro News Talk Live with Hoppy Kercheval.
Check set lineup link. Activated Telos telephone. Switch network control from Charleston to Morgantown.
Stand by. Cue Hoppy. You're on.
Metro News Talk Line with Hoppy Kercheval is brought to you by Encova Insurance, encircling you with coverage to protect what you